Hello again, how are you? Welcome to Main Street Martin episode 12, and before we start, a quick reminder to please like any videos that you enjoy here and make sure you subscribe to the channel please, it really helps us going forward. Now in this episode we'll hopefully give you some ideas of how to get more magic by pointing out a few things that are easy to miss. Some things that may be worth paying a few extra dollars for, and some which are included in your Disney vacation anyway. And we're going to start with our first tip, and that is to make sure you explore the resorts and not just the one you're staying at. They are all fabulous, they're easily accessible using Disney transportation, they're very welcoming, and they're just amazing to have a look around. But apart from that, they also have all sorts of activities, from Surrey bikes at Boardwalk and Caribbean Beach Resort amongst others, to horse riding at Fort Wilderness and fishing at various resorts around the Seven Seas Lagoon. Now if you want to have a look at some of the resorts but you don't want to make a specific journey, then why not do it on your way to somewhere else? For instance, if you're at Disney Springs, it's quite easy to walk around the lake or take a boat across the lake and have a look around Saratoga Springs. If you're going to either Hollywood Studios or Epcot, you could just go to Boardwalk, have a look around the resorts there, including the yacht and beach club resorts, and then either walk into one of the two theme parks or again take a boat. Now I suppose some of the most accessible resorts are on the monorail loop near to Magic Kingdom, the Grand Floridian for example, or Contemporary Resort, and of course the Polynesian Resort as well. Don't forget you can actually make a reservation to dine at any Disney hotels, so how about combining an experience with a meal? Maybe going to Animal Kingdom Lodge, dining at Boma Flavors of Africa, and then enjoying some of the wildlife, seeing the animals up close and personal on the savannah outside. Or maybe make a reservation for California Grill at Contemporary Resort, and then after you've eaten in the restaurant, staying behind to watch the spectacular firework display from Magic Kingdom on the terrace outside. The second thing to think about that you may completely overlook on a Walt Disney World holiday is maybe a round of golf. Most people don't immediately think of Walt Disney World as a golfing holiday resort, but there are superb 18-hole golf courses here. The Magnolia and the Palms are across from the Polynesian Village Resort, and the Lake Buena Vista course is right next to Saratoga Springs and Old Key West Resort. Now if these are not necessarily your standard, or you're looking for something that won't take quite so long and might be fun for all the family, there are two amazing Walt Disney World Resort Adventure golf courses. Winter Summerland is the first and Fantasia Gardens is the second. And check your tickets, because these may well be included in the tickets that you already have. For tip number 3, how about trying something completely different? Taking in the views high above Disney Springs on board the world's largest tethered helium balloon, looking out across the lake towards the Saratoga Springs Resort, across Walt Disney World and beyond. The views are absolutely incredible. The bad news is you will have to pay for your tickets for this. You can get them on the west side, right by Starbucks from a window there, and that's also where you'll board the balloon from. If you do fancy this idea, then this is available for you every day from 8:30 in the morning. Wherever you go in Walt Disney World, you'll find water, and that means there are plenty of options when it comes to boating and sailing, and we're going to look at those options now for tip number 4. Of course, there are plenty of options in the theme parks themselves, with rides and boat rides, and of course an extensive network of transportation on the waterways between the resorts and the theme parks. But apart from that, I don't know if you realise, but Walt Disney World is the home of the country's largest fleet of pleasure boats. You can cruise on Bay Lake or the Seven Seas Lagoon, and you can hire a variety of boats and craft from the marina in your resort. There are so many options, whether it be an amphicar here at Disney Springs. You may want to hire a canoe or a pedal boat in your resort, or maybe go motorboating or parasailing. One thing's for sure, if you're looking to take to the water anywhere in Walt Disney World, there are certainly plenty of options. Now if you have some spare time, for tip number 5, I'd recommend heading over to Celebration on the west of Walt Disney World property, close to ESPN Wide World of Sports in Kissimmee. It was originally founded by the Walt Disney Company in the mid-1990s as a master-planned community and designed with historical American small towns in mind, with civic buildings designed by world-famous architects. Today, it's a charming small town. It has tree-lined streets, captivating architecture, and a welcome mix of shops and restaurants. In fact, there's also a beautiful hotel there. Have a look inside. It's stunning. In fact, Celebration was named one of America's top 10 prettiest towns, and there's lots to do there as well. If you want to find out more about Celebration, you can take a self-guided walking tour, maybe a horse-drawn carriage ride, a Segway tour, or maybe rent bikes as well to ride through the scenic trails, and there are plenty of those. If you do decide to explore Celebration, check out the calendar of events that take place every year, now snowing during the Christmas holiday season, Oktoberfest, which celebrates the beginning of fall, and check out the weekly farmers market every Sunday, as well as the monthly art and wine walking tours. Tip number 6 is all about live entertainment, and there's plenty of it at Walt Disney World, in the parks and beyond. I'm not just talking about the specific performances in terms of shows in the theme parks and maybe some of the performers you'll find around the park, but other ad hoc entertainment as well. You've just seen a choir performing at Disney Springs. This is a performance from the Voices of Liberty at the American Adventure Pavilion at World Showcase in Epcot. This happens several times a day as a pre-show, and it's worth popping your head inside to find out what times they are performing, because they are sensational. Likewise, you may bump into the Dapper Dans at the Magic Kingdom, and there are other performers all around your resorts and the various theme parks. Don't forget as well that you can make reservations for dinner shows like the Hoop-de-Doo musical review and others on Disney property. Before you travel as well, check for any special events and live entertainment schedules. For instance, this is the summer season of concerts at Epcot, and this is just one of the many headline acts that you can see there. Major household names in terms of artists and bands. This was Peter Noon from Herman's Hermits in 2019. At Disney Springs there's live entertainment, lots of music all day and well into the night as well. This is a band playing outside the House of Blues during the day. Don't forget to stick around in the evening as well, because Disney Springs comes back to life. Right the way through from the marketplace to West Side, it explodes with live entertainment from every corner. So as you make your way around from bar to bar, shop to restaurant, stop and take in this live entertainment along the way. Like this, a fabulous a cappella group. We're going to stay at Disney Springs for tip number 7. I've already mentioned some of the amazing things that you can do here, from taking a helium-filled balloon flight 400 feet high above Disney Springs to take in the views across Walt Disney World, perhaps going out for a ride in an amphi car, or taking a boat trip across the water to explore Saratoga Springs Resort. But there is so much more to do here than that, whether it be buying your Christmas decorations early, or designing your own t-shirt, or maybe just sitting down and relaxing with a cup of coffee and an ice cream. One thing's for sure, read all the information as you go around. Take in the backstory to Disney Springs, because it really does bring the theming to life. That brings us nicely on to tip number 8, because I'm sure wherever you go on holiday you like to do some shopping, and Disney Springs is at the very centre of that shopping experience at Walt Disney World, but there are lots of other options as well. I said at Disney Springs that you can buy Christmas decorations all year round. You can buy everything from hats to flip-flops, jewellery to artwork, but there are plenty of opportunities to do that around the theme parks and water parks as well, and there are also stores in your hotels and resorts. And don't forget that outside Walt Disney World there's everything you need without having to travel too far, from the largest big brand designer stores through to outlet shops where you can buy everything including Disney merchandise. Tip number 9 is all about dining. Now, a lot has changed at Walt Disney World since it first opened back in 1971. Back then, the eating options were very limited, and those that were available were what you might describe as typical theme park food. Nowadays, well, the options are much more diverse. Everything from egg rolls to cinnamon rolls, smoked turkey legs to lamb stew, meatloaf to mussels, and much, much more. If you're staying at Walt Disney World, all of the resorts have various places to eat, whether they be snack bar, quick service or table service restaurants. You've got plenty of choice there. Then of course all of the theme parks will have various places to eat as well, and of course you've got places like Boardwalk and Disney Springs, so the choice is limitless. What I would say is that you may, if you're staying on property, want to look at one of the options for a Disney dining plan. Check that out. But even if you're not going to do that, and even if you're not staying on property, you may be looking for somewhere special to go and eat, somewhere that you particularly enjoy going to perhaps, or you've always heard about and you want to try. If it's a table service, then it's certainly worth making a reservation ahead of time. For our 10th and final tip, let's take a look at something that you may not have even heard about, and even if you are aware of it, you may not have ever considered going there. It's the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex, a 220-acre, multi-million-pound facility offering 70 types of sporting experience for both athletes and spectators alike. It hosts all sorts of events, from skipping to wrestling, and it's also the home of the Pop Warner Super Bowl and the National Cheer and Dance Championships. Also, spring training events take place there for Major League Baseball's Atlanta Braves. The complex includes a baseball stadium, a field house that accommodates basketball, wrestling and volleyball, a track and field complex, tennis courts and multi-purpose fields fit for football, soccer and much, much more. There's somewhere to eat there and a sports grill, and certainly lots to explore. There is an admission price, but if you have some time on your hands, it might be worth exploring. Well, sadly, I'm afraid that's about it from this episode. I hope you found it useful. Maybe you picked up some hints or tips, or maybe even some ideas for when you book your next Walt Disney World holiday. If you enjoyed it or you did find it useful, then make sure you like it, and that applies to all the other videos on this channel as well. In fact, if you haven't seen them already, check them out now. There's a range of top tips videos through to trip videos dating back to 1993. In the meantime, make sure you join me here next time for Main Street Martin episode 13.